bats that go sort of around
Yeah,
the middle of lineups.
and it's a lot of the contenders are going to be looking at that, aren't they? Really, I
Yeah,
think. Well, like the Cubs. I mean, well, the Cardinals obviously are losing Azuna, so they'll probably go for someone like that as well.
yeah,
And even teams lower down, just most teams can always do with a slugger on the corner, can't they? An
yeah.
extra one.
Unless you're the Yankees, basically.
Yeah, the Yankees don't need one, but
But almost everyone else, you can say, well, yeah, you could get this guy and play him in left and move that guy to right or whatever. You find a
yeah,
way.
yeah,
Yeah, are there any other non-tender guys that are that interesting? Oh, Cesar Hernandez, actually. There we go. That's one that I thought was.
sort of interesting. But
I only have him as in the interesting group because the second base market is so completely pathetic, and second base in general around baseball
but there's also a few other guys that people will just get like I don't know. You get like Didi Gregorius playing second base, don't you? If you need a
Yeah,
second baseman, I don't think there's that many teams that need a second baseman. I I reckon I wouldn't be surprised if he's a minor league contract guy. That's what I'd expect, to be honest.
what Cesar Hernandez?
Yeah,
I think someone will give him a deal as a switch hitter that is actually okay.
just don't really see where though,
Not much better than okay, but
where he goes because there's a couple of other well, for example, actually, this could be a nice link on
the
to the
Cubs
rest
need
of
a
the
second
podcast.
baseman.
Well, and I was going to say, for example, like the Reds just paid Moustakas a load of money to play second base.
Yeah,
Like
that's one.
there's loads
One
of guys
hold
like
on.
that though, but like Gregorius, because there's not many holes at shortstop. Anywhere, I don't think. Like guys like Gregorius will probably end up, signing to play mainly in a different position.
Yeah,
For
potentially.
So I feel like even though there's not many actual like guys that have played mainly second base in their career, there's a lot of people that are ahead of him. If you're looking for a second baseman, you're just the people will go to other get one of those guys because he's not really anything special, as he says, Hernandez.
No,
He's
but the
just
shortstop market isn't particularly stellar either. I could see him going to like the Red Sox or something on not very much money.
maybe.
I think someone will definitely. I think someone will give him a contract. It might not be very much money, or even the Cubs, because Addison Russell's another guy who just got non-tendered,
Oh yeah.
and they will be interested in
Haven't
anything
they
that's
got?
cheap.
Yeah, I guess so. As like like an extra guy. Or has he got options or anything though? Or
Don't
he
know.
signs as a free agent actually? I don't actually know how that works. But yeah, but they've got that other guy. Remember that guy? What's his name? That they got from Italy or something.
Oh yeah,
Like he
Rob-
was their second baseman and doing really well, wasn't
Robel Garcia.
he? Yeah, that's it.
He only had 72 at bats
You're right, but yeah,
and
but
wasn't particularly good in
yeah,
it. He was 775 OPS. I think he'll get a deal somewhere. I think he's good enough to get a contract.
Ian Happ also. Ian Happ finally actually came back up, didn't he?
Yeah, if they don't well, they might need him in the outfield as well because
Yeah, but
they're not in a good position
yeah, I
basically.
think it'd make more sense for them to sign a corner outfield of all the ones that are available though, and play
It
Happ.
would, but I don't trust them to make the decision that makes most sense.
Yeah,
That's why I think they're the sort of team that would just. I agree that I don't think Hernandez is particularly a player that anyone should be rushing to sign, but teams don't necessarily function like that, do they? A lot of them don't think outside the box. I think a lot of teams will just be like, well, we could do with someone better at second base, and he's going to be
yeah,
cheap and a switch hitter, and they'll get lured in by that and just pay him some money, and it'll be like, okay, he's going to hit like 7 and be just below league average, and it'll be, well, okay, good. That was a great use of everyone's time.
yeah.
It's a strange one.
So anyway, let's move on. As I was saying, we can move on to
Might be stuck as
Moustakis.
his
Yeah,
ostentatious contract.
it's quite interesting, that isn't it? That move. I mean, I think it's slightly stupid. Really, doesn't really make. Actually, did we? This hadn't happened, does it? When we last.
No, No, and
But that's slightly insane, that contract. Because he's been one of these guys that he'd been a free agent, like, it seems like each year for the last few years.
yeah,
And well, first time he like ended up going back to Kansas City after like all the goodbye stuff they had for all their World
yeah.
Series guys that were leaving. And and he's just sort of moved around, and then went and ended up playing second base at Milwaukee for a bit. And he's finally actually got a long contract. And it's like a 5-year deal.
Four,
Four.
four,
But
$64 million.
so it takes him until he's 35. As
I,
a guy that's only just started playing second base, I mean, you can't imagine. I mean, I don't think he's probably not. I don't think he's a great second baseman now, exactly. But you've got to imagine that in like a year, but like in a year or two, he's not going to be able to play second base anymore, is he?
and they've got Suarez at third.
Yeah, and they signed him to a huge deal like a year or so ago, didn't they?
I I found the narrative around this deal was very interesting. A lot of the comments were, "This guy hit 35 home runs and he's their second baseman next year. How amazing is that?" Well, yes, I suppose so, but that's what happens. I mean, you could take
Yeah,
Aaron Judge and put him at second base and go, "Well, look, our second baseman can hit 50 home runs in a year." I mean, sort of. But if you move people's positions, this stuff doesn't really work
yeah,
quite as well. As it might work, it might
yeah.
work
I
out.
think
But I agree with you.
like
4 years of that.
yeah, I think last year he was relatively solid at second. Like he has
It's functional, yeah.
yeah, he's been functional there. It's just the fact that it's a long-term deal. You're signing him as a second baseman because you already have a long-term third baseman, and he's not going to be able to play second base pretty soon. Maybe the idea
What?
is he'll take over from Joey Votto
But then that's so.
first.
I just thought that, and I just looked at Votto's contract. That's a long, long way off. Votto's
Yeah,
got
but
years to go.
as
In fact,
Votto's started being quite bad now, hasn't he?
yeah, but what are they going to do with
So
him?
yeah,
His
I think
contract runs beyond
yeah.
Moustakas'.
This is a big thing with the Reds anyway, isn't it? Is that they didn't spend any money around Votto when Votto was good,
Yeah,
and then they started spending a bit of money, and now Votto's bad, and now they're basically once again they've got no chance of being competitive really because
what I don't
there's
like
so
with
much
it
money in Votto.
is like you said, is they've misjudged around Votto, and it's now they're trying to make up for it. But making up
Yeah,
the Moustakas thing is sort of thinking out the box. Like I know the Brewers have been using him at second anyway, but by spending that much money on him to play second is a bit out of the box. I kind of like that. It's a bit different. But 4 years, regardless of position, my eyes fell out of their sockets when I saw he was getting 4 years. I
yeah,
just because I mean, if you just look at his numbers over his career, last year All Star 114 OPS plus, 2015 All Star 119 OPS plus. Most of the rest of his career, he's been a bit above average and not much more than that.
yeah. He's not like a absolutely stellar hitter, but he's like
He's good,
he's gonna most teams would improve their lineup.
yeah, but he's not
Probably
like a
put him in,
walk
but
machine
yeah,
either. He's just
yeah,
he's a very solid hitter who goes from somewhere between like good to just above average. And a team of the uh, whether we want to call it willingness to spend of the Reds or budget of the Reds, whatever we want to look at it, that's a lot of money and a lot of years to commit to someone
yeah.
like that, I think.
That's the thing is when we're talking about those players that have been non-tendered and certain teams, when they're only spending a limited amount, they can spend it more effectively. This is one of those, I think.
Yeah,
Like the amount of
absolutely.
money they've committed. Um, yeah, and like I don't know, they're not going to sign anyone else anywhere near that big, are they? The rest of this off
What
season.
what I would have said,
That sort of
so
thing.
Didi Gregorius was linked with the Reds a while back. He started his career off there.
Yeah,
Um, and
that would
they
have
were
made a
linked
bit
with
more
him.
sense.
They were linked with him as a shortstop. I assumed the idea with that was going to be that it was a 1 or 2 year deal for him to try and get his value back after injury and not being amazing last year. And there's at least a bit of upside there, I feel.
Yeah,
Maybe a bit more than with Moustakis because he has had these streaks where he's just hit home runs for fun, and their ballpark would favour him a lot as well, wouldn't it?
yeah,
Um, I would have liked that more if they paid him to play short and then got someone else, like whoever, to play
Cesar
second.
Hernandez,
Yeah, maybe they did that, and
maybe.
it would be like the same cost as getting Moustakis. But
Yeah,
instead, they've just
and a
gone,
less commitment.
yeah, they've gone all
Yeah,
in on him, and it's like so now their infield for the next forever is Suarez, Votto, Moustakis.
and shortstop, whoever that is. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they still need a shortstop.
Wait, so what happened to Senzel?
He's been playing centre field.
He could possibly play infield, could he, at some point?
Yeah, yeah, I suppose so.
Um, but yeah, yeah, who knows? The Reds are just let's stop talking about the Reds because they're basically not really that interesting because they're just sort of Votto is now bad, so they're going to be bad until Votto is gone. I think.
Unless their rotation is ridiculous, and they are in the market for a
Yeah,
starter, but the way their lineup looks, it needs to be an extremely good rotation potentially.
I think what we need to move on to is the Zach Wheeler deal, which is like the biggest deal so far, isn't it?
Yep, it is in dollars, and
Yeah,
in
and
it's the Phillies, so everyone gets all giddy about it.
5 years, isn't it?
5 years, $118 million.
So it's over 20 million a year. Quite a lot over 20 million a year.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a confusing one. This is it's a lot of it is the Statcast stuff, isn't it? That people get excited about with Zach Wheeler.
Yeah.
People get the sort of Statcast purists like Statcast numbers are everything. Like if you have better Statcast numbers, you're just better.
But with Zach Wheeler, the case is he has pitched in 126 major league games, and he's always had these good Statcast numbers, pretty much, hasn't he? I think he's
Yeah,
always been a guy with great stuff, but he's never actually been that good. I mean,
he's not
like,
been really dominant.
was it the
2018,
second half of
2018 was
2018,
quite good.
wasn't it? Was this? I think it
Yeah,
was the second half of that year. He was really amazing, but that's half a season.
yeah, he's not,
$118 million.
and
Like,
he's not that young either.
no.
Because I think the thing is here is that, well, I think the comparison that I've seen made is with Bumgarner is that this deal means Bumgarner's get loads of money, and then some people saying no, it doesn't mean that because Bumgarner's Statcast numbers aren't as good. But really, I think it is sort of there is comparison between them because they are not that far off age-wise, are they?
Yeah, and
I
if I
don't,
was Baumgartner, I would, and any team was speaking to me, I'd say I want more than Zach Wheeler.
yeah, but I mean, like okay, so how old is Bumgarner? Bumgarner is actually they're the same age. I think they're both in the age 30 season next year,
Yeah,
so they're effectively the same age. I guess you could say that maybe Bumgarner's got a lot more rings in his arm, so maybe that sort of makes him older as a pitcher, in a way. But really, it's basically all based on the Statcast numbers. That Zach Wheeler basically has high spin rate and throws hard, and Bumgarner doesn't.
yeah.
But the problem is with that is it's like a massive simplification of just sort of the whole sport, isn't it?
Well,
Because it's
also, you're basically saying that the actual results don't matter. That, well, we'd
yeah,
expect him to be better, so that's all
yeah.
that matters.
Well,
But in
yeah.
both
What you're
cases,
saying, what you're saying there is over both of their quite sizable samples. While Bumgarner's a lot bigger sample. Bumgarner's 1,846 innings and Wheeler's 749 innings. The fact that Bumgarner's results have been quite a lot better than Wheeler's is nothing more than a fluke, is what you're saying. If you're saying that
yeah,
the Statcast numbers are everything, but there's obviously a lot more to pitching than just throwing the ball hard and throwing it with spin rate. I mean, it helps a lot, but it's
but he's not
basically
all of it.
Bumgarner is that's not Bumgarner's strong point, but all the other stuff is basically.
So
Whereas
I think,
Wheeler, it feels like Wheeler doesn't really have any of the other stuff. I mean, deception and like control and mixing pitches and
but that's stuff that
how
can.
you pitch in the big moments and stuff when there's runners on and everything like that.
But this is what I ended up putting in my article about the Wheeler deal. Was one, I think it's